Sawadee Krap and welcome to another episode here for the Thailand Tuesday. It's Tuesday and you know what it means. We talk about all things Thailand this week. One more time, a little bit more about the health scare that we had over the last 2 weeks. Next week, probably a bit more travel heavy because then my sister's going to be here. And so, well, she probably wants to travel a little bit. So that's why it's going to be a bit more travel heavy, I assume. Okay, so one more time, health scare, right? So the last update was that we went to different hospitals, private hospital, then the governmental hospital, and then been doing blood tests and so on, right? So if you've missed that, check out the last 2 Thailand Tuesdays where I talked about all those things. Now then, the update right now is, so it turned out not to be blood cancer, what you would think about blood cancer. As I mentioned last week, it's a different kind of blood disease that, now that we talked with the doctor, I understand that has like different treatment possibilities. The easiest one that they try right now would be, and it's the disease is called anaplastic anemia, I think. So the one treatment possibility would be you get some medicine that should stimulate blood platelet production, I believe. Probably also, like, since it's a lot of medicine, it should be also, I assume, with the red and white blood cells, I guess. It's male testosterone somehow mixed in there. So, of course, if you're in a female patient, you're like, oh, let's see where this leads me. But so far, so good. Only thing is that if she takes it too late, late at night, because you should take it with dinner, but if dinner is too late, then she has trouble sleeping, so be aware of that. Other than that, it seems to be okay so far. Sometimes then, however, like, it's still not back to normal, like, take the medicine and you're okay for 1 or 2 hours, you do some stuff, go out, maybe have some lunch or something, and then tiredness is setting in quite fast again. But no dizziness so far, headaches not as much, which is good. So it's slowly getting better, which is nice. But gotta go back to the hospital and then this coming week and check, like, how is the blood developing, are the platelets going up, and so on, right? Because that's one thing. Then another thing could be like that you have to stay in the hospital until your body recovers more, which of course would suck, but okay. And I think then the last chance basically would be stem cell transplant. So that's how you call it, with a donor. Luckily, like I mentioned last time, she has a sister. The sister could donate what's necessary to do that, which would be bone marrow stem cells, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, because again, I'm not a doctor, but I try to understand. And it's in a different language, so I try to understand it as much as I can when they talk. Okay. Also, I try not to disclose too many private information. As you can, that's why I'm hesitating sometimes, as you can obviously see. Okay, so problem with the transplant, the stem cell bone marrow thing, would be that you would also need to undergo chemotherapy to shut down the immune system so that it takes on that stem cell transplant better, as far as I understand it, which of course will suck. Okay, so now we're in treatment plan A, and luckily the doctor is like very well versed in that, has lots of patients in that, and lots of success in that. So, quite looking not forward to it, but like more on the positive side of things than before. However, of course, still very cautious now to see what's going to happen with the next blood test. It's going to happen like early this coming week. So at time of when this airs, we're probably in the hospital getting the blood checked. So fingers crossed there, hopefully. The good thing now, when you're talking about the hospital, like I talked about it before, was like terrible, like the ER, emergency room, like overcrowded and so on, crazy setup, people on beds in the parking lot and so on. The doctor itself now seems to be quite good. He actually works at 2 different hospitals, so he seems to be quite okay, and he has a plan. Problems still are the nurses and so on, because they're obviously, like I said last time, overworked and busy and just can't be bothered with anything, which is understandable. But then again, from a patient point of view, as I mentioned last time, you're still like, hey, come on, it's my life, so please can you try a bit harder? So yeah, but okay, the doctor seems to be all right, and we're happy with that doctor right now. Okay, enough of that. I don't want to make this like only a sad sob story here every time we do the Thailand Tuesday. So I promise that next time a bit more traveling, maybe also a bit more insights into like what's happening in Thailand right now. Because even though there are no big news on like the global stage, I think there's still some things happening here. For example, the cost of living is going through the roof. Maybe we will do like an episode on this next week or like soon when my sister is gone again. Because the cost of living right now, like food and so on, is just ridiculous. It's like almost doubled within the last few months. It's just crazy. It's insane. I used to buy like cut fruit, and it used to be like 20 baht, 30 baht, and now it's like 60, 70, 80, it's up to 100 baht for a certain fruit. It's like, what's happening? So the cost of living is ridiculous. And of course, for those less fortunate, even worse. I'm gonna leave this background sound in now because it's the Thailand Tuesday, and so you can hear what it is like to live in Thailand, because you hear those broken car sounds like all the time. Okay, so yeah. No, it put me off the track. I lost the track. No, it's like the cost of living, right? So the cost of living is just really insane right now. And if you're less fortunate, of course, if you have like a lower paid job, it's of course super difficult to maintain a decent living right now. It was difficult before. Now it's even more difficult. And the government help doesn't seem to be enough, if there is any. It doesn't seem to be. I don't know. Like I don't want to blame or hit on the government without knowing too much, so I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like it looks like people are struggling more than before, but maybe we should take a deep dive into that next time. I'm sure the government tries to help and so on. It just looks like people are struggling more, but we will do a deep dive into this once my sister is gone, after the travel parts, then we maybe have some time to go more into detail there. Okay, that's enough for the Thailand Tuesday this week. I appreciate you as always. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, you know it. Tell your friends about it. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think about it, like A, your health situations in Thailand, and B, how do you handle the spike in the cost of living. As always, take care, stay safe. Chok di, and we'll see and talk soon. Sawadee Krap.